Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are celebrating something pretty exciting. I have a new PC. Hooray! Um, so things are running a lot better and I can run the game on full graphics, which is great. The bad news is I have a PC because my dad died and I used some of the insurance money to pay for it. Oh no. Anyway, uh, glad to be back. I'm hoping to post a little more regularly. The Wizard of Oz series is still in the works. I have not stopped it, but I wanted to do something a little quicker and easier, I say, even though this took a couple hours. It took a while. It was not fast. This is probably going to be about 30 minutes for y'all. For me, I don't remember how long it was, but it was a while. It was a while. Anyway, we are doing a sort of, I wanted to build a cottage, what a shock. And this is a Gothic Revival style cottage. And it's like maximalist on the inside, it's going to be, and the colors are like lavender and yellow based on like a sim that I made. And then I just kind of ran away with that. And I didn't really use one image as far as inspiration. I kind of smashed a few things together. I saw like a house posting for a house here in Illinois that I ended up using. I'm still trying to figure out some of the settings for running the game and for running my OBS software. So forgive me if this looks a little blurry on your screen. Also, I'm eating dinner, so I apologize. If you hear me swallowing, this is ASMR now. This beginning part here, I'm trying to figure out what color to make the house. I definitely wanted to be purple, but for some reason I thought there were more options for like a purple brick. Then I realized the only one there really was the one from Realm of Magic. And so I ended up doing something else. And the roof here changes a little bit, you can see, but it is kind of roughly this shape. And eventually there are a few more bump outs that are added on. And I really struggled with the windows. I ended up using mainly windows from Strangerville, and I think I ended up using stuff from maybe, give me a moment. It was the one little Simsy built for, and she was like, I don't know what's going on. And then she was like, I built for this. Family living, San Sequoia, whatever that one is. I'm sure I'll remember eventually. Windows from that. I used that. What else? What else? I feel like I should say that's not shade on Lil Simsy. I think it's hilarious and I love her dearly. Then this part here is me struggling to figure out how to do the upper floors as well, because I didn't know if I wanted to be more modern, if I was going for like a Tudor vibe. It ends up being a little more modern. It's like shingles, and then I use some like scale shingles is what I would call it. No, siding and shingles. It's like a siding that looks like shingles and like dragony. This sim that I ended up making that you'll see in the cinematic footage, I think I made her a spellcaster. But this isn't necessarily a spellcaster home specifically. Like I didn't put a cauldron or anything in here. I didn't put any magical plants. And another thing is that I did is that since it was lavender in color, I put a lot of like the lavender plant in the landscaping, mostly from Debug. There might be a couple that are not from Debug, and there's also going to be quite a lot of packs in here, and I don't really recall how much the house costs. It's small, but it definitely doesn't have a starter home cost because I turned on free build a little bit for a while. I also re-downloaded the Twisted Mexi Better Build By in the second half of building this because I need it. Guys, I need to be able to look through that debug menu and the live edit objects. I need it more than I need water. Well, maybe not that much, but I need it. Anyway, still trying to figure stuff out. I think maybe OBS. I don't know, it's supposed to be smart, but I tried to look some stuff up on Reddit and found a little bit. I also found some stuff that was AI, and guys, I am staunchly anti AI. I do not like it. I am an artist. I don't enjoy that it is melting people's brains. I don't enjoy that it's destroying the environment. I don't enjoy that it is taking away drinking water from people. I don't like that it's stealing from artists. I don't like that it's just a technology that is not even needed. We have gone so long without it, and big business and big tech, or whatever you want to call it, they are just ignoring humanity and human rights and just doing whatever they want. And it drives me crazy. It drives me insane. I don't even know if you could hear that whisper. Here we are playing around with some of the awnings for the front of the building. I ended up using Realm of Magic awnings, and I think I changed the colors once or twice. This round window up here doesn't end up changing because the yellow pretty quickly goes away from the outside of the build as far as like wallpaper is concerned. I did use some yellow wallpaper on the inside. I used Decor to the Max and a couple other things, as well as a little bit of actually, I don't quite recall. Bonus points to you if you've gotten this far listening to me just ramble. Hopefully you're folks that like the channel and are glad to see some new stuff go up. Feel free to drop a comment. Actually, I'm gonna consider starting streaming soon, and but first I've got to figure out a face cam situation. I've got a couple friends that stream, so I need to talk to them about that and see what I need to do. But I'll figure it out eventually. But if you would like to watch me stream some building, let me know. I've been kind of up in the air as far as like continuing to use The Sims because of all of the stuff that's been going on with the EA buyout. I considered going to Paralives, but I think it might be difficult to do my Wizard of Oz series in Paralives. So far, ever since the announcement of the buyout, I have not given EA any more money or bought any more packs. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I know Lil Simsy worked with her representative in Florida to help with the petition. I know people at EA have been actively protesting, but it's a scary time right now. And I just feel very iffy on a lot of things, but I did need to do some sort of creative outlet, and this was it. So hopefully y'all enjoy it, and you're still interested in listening to me talk and yap at you for... This says 32 minutes and 10 seconds, which is probably correct because I have not filmed the closing video as of yet. Now that I'm looking at this, I guess the quality isn't terrible. I just feel like I need to do something because it's not as crisp as far as what I would like. Like, you can see the UI, but you can definitely tell that the words are blurry. So I'll play around with a few more recording settings and see what I can figure out as far as that goes. Anywho, you guys are probably going to be getting this recording in spurts. Not the video itself, I just mean the audio is going to be recorded in spurts. I had to leave. Well, now it's the next morning, but for you, it's mere seconds. I had rehearsals last night for a new musical workshop. I am in a musical workshop here in the Chicago area for a new musical, which is a musical adaptation of the true crime event during the reign of Louis XIV in France that was referred to as the Affair of the Poisons. So I was there, and it was fun. I got to do some bass singing, which I don't get to do a ton because new modern musical theater is not written for basses. It is the tenor's world. If there's anyone here who sings, hopefully you understand. Now, here we are working on the backyard of our little cottage. And I'm doing a thing. I should probably do a little bit of exploring and find some new stuff to do. But I'm using they're like package objects as border stones. You could see that I did try to use like actual rocks, but I didn't like how they weren't uniform, which is kind of silly because, well, I guess I can't say that I didn't do things uniformly in making this build, because the little patches of landscaping that you'll kind of see crop up, they're like pretty uniform. They're like, I mean, there's undergrowth on them. There's like low-lying flowers, but who's to say? Now, here is, we're putting a little patio table. We've got a nice little hanging flower by the door. Some wine, excuse me, nectar. Nectar. This game is not rated adult or mature. That is nectar. That is not alcohol. We did a little poof. I did kind of lean into some of the movie hangout stuff, that like very intense boho vibe for this. I do like a lot of it. I just wish that we had more things that are sort of in the vein of the Decor to the Max kit, where it's like the bright colors, but it's like a little more muted and more of like a royal, what's the word? A jewel tone sort of thing. But you'll take what you can get, and especially since I'm not really buying any new packs for this right now, I don't know. Here is where I'm finally adding a second floor bump out, because I realized Homegirl needs a place to sleep. So I put one there, and then eventually you'll see I realize I need one on the bottom as well, because we need a bathroom. And then I did a lot of back and forth deciding what kind of window to use. I did end up going again with the like Gothic windows from Strangerville. But all of the window options I did try, I think probably could have worked if I had just gone with like a slightly different style. And now as I'm rewatching it, I don't even hate that like 3 smaller window thing I tried to do, but you live and you learn. And I'm trying to recall, yeah, I remember doing this on the bottom window with, it was like a Craftsman, so that's a little confusing considering that's not Gothic in the slightest. And here you can see where I'm like trying to figure out how to get the second floor to work, because it's not a true second floor, it's up inside the roof. So I had to do some finagling with the roof, which I eventually figured out. And you can see here I kind of gave up for a little bit, and I was like, let's put a doorway downstairs. And you can see how I put one doorway there, and I didn't like it because it's like a medium height wall door, and I had short doors, and then I tried to put a taller arch and raise the floor with move objects and then put it back down. That didn't work. And then I toyed around with having the bathroom up here with some half walls, and I was like messing with the roof to try to get that to work, and it wasn't really working. So the little bump out that you see towards the back above the like back patio, it's not going to be a thing. Now this part for the upstairs does eventually end up being a thing, and actually I kind of like this little baby like roof bit I used to cover up the pointy bit in the middle of this. It kind of ended up being sort of star shaped, which I thought was kind of cool, or like the top half of a star, I guess. So that was fun. But this little bump out that you can see here, the one that has like the big Gothic 3-tile window, ends up being the bedroom, and you can see it if you play with walls up, and then there's just enough space kind of to where you can kind of do like a little peekaboo inside the room, which you'll see eventually when I decorate that room. Right now I'm still trying to figure out what kind of windows we're going to have down here, and then eventually I end up picking something that kind of almost makes it looks like the window from downstairs continues upstairs, even though it doesn't really. And then here, of course, I'm trying to figure out stairs. I think, yeah, I do end up keeping stairs. I was trying to remember if I went to a ladder, but I didn't because I wanted stairs. I kind of would have liked them to do a little bit more of a wraparound, but you can't really do that. I feel like every time I put stairs that lead into a kitchen, because that's what this is going to do, I think of the Practical Magic house, which I haven't made yet, but a lot of other people have made it, even though I do love her. I'm wondering if now that they're making a sequel, and I'm sure they're rebuilding that house somewhere, if they're going to tear the set like down again like they did when they made the original, or if maybe they'll leave it. But it'll probably just be a shell. I don't know. Here's the bedroom bit I was talking about, the upstairs. I ended up using this swatch of the bed. I think it's from Pets. That's got the purple and lavender sort of colors. And then I used this maximalist wallpaper up here, and it did this funky thing where there was a portion of the upstairs, because it is a room hidden inside a roof, where if I tried to put the wallpaper up, it was also making the front of the outside of like the triangle part of the roof the wallpaper. So I had to like close off that room eventually, and I'm just gonna say it's kind of like a tiny little like sunroom area. Yeah, here we go. That right there with that archway. But I did end up, like I said, using this Decor to the Max wallpaper with the birds and the flowers. I do love her. I kind of wish we had more swatches of it. But I mean, it was what? A stuff pack? A game pack? A kit? Decor to the Max kit. Yes, of course it's a kit. So who knows? Then I played around a lot with the rugs down here. I think I did end up going eventually. Yeah, I used these like stripy ones from Nifty Knitting. And then, of course, now I'm trying to decide what's going to go in this sunroom. Well, flowers, of course. I think it is movie hangout again, maybe? Or maybe it's not. I don't remember what that succulent thing is. I know that this gallery wall moment is definitely from Decor to the Max. And then I was fighting a lot with like what sort of lights to use up here. I think I ended up going with something more simple instead of like a more maximalist light, which is kind of crazy considering I did use a fair amount of patterns and colors in this house. But I think I ended up going with something a little more traditional, or like using sconces, because I figured this is an older home. And so whoever moved in here kind of wanted to use some of the OG light pieces, or at least stuff that was in like the same sort of like vibe as the OG light pieces. And then here's a little back reading nook corner with some of the book nook shelves. And then I put a little bit of just regular shelves along this wall, because I wanted you to still be able to like have sight lines of the chair and the reading nook. Because like I'm just gonna like straight up say it, y'all, this is a tight little space up here. So you pretty much can only see into this room from this angle that I'm decorating from. So I don't really know how feasible it is to play up here. I think it would work. But like maybe if you're just doing like a smaller playthrough where you're just truly hanging out with this one sim, it would work. I guess if you did want to move another sim in here, the yard is big. You could always expand the house. You could probably, could you squeeze another bed down here in this living room? I don't know. Here is the living room. We're going with the yellow again. We're using the yellow swatch of the wallpaper from the Paranormal Stuff Pack. Which they should give us more swatches of this too. I don't know. Sims Team 1, I hope that your protest to not be sold overseas to people who do not care about human rights is successful. But also, if that doesn't happen, can you make more like fun, sort of like semi-Victorian botanical wallpapers? Like any sort of like trending peel and stick wallpaper that's selling right now. Can we just have kind of like a Sims take on that? I paused for a moment to grab the kitty cat. I have a new kitten. Maybe I've discussed this since I last built something. I think the last thing I put up was Miss Cackle's Academy from the Worst Witch. And I might have had the kitty cat, the new cat, by then. I don't quite recall. But she was crawling on the desk just now, so I grabbed her. It's pretty early in the morning. I'm sitting here with my iced coffee before I have to clock into work. Anyway, I think I might have talked about the cat all through the decorating of the living room for the most part. If that's the case, sorry. But here is the bump out where I did add the bathroom. I feel like my bathrooms, they all are kind of leaning a little similar lately. I love this tile from Vampires. I use it a lot, but I don't think I've ever used this particular swatch of the tile from Realm of Magic that I put up in here. So that's fun. I guess that is, like, it does lean a little witchy because it is Realm of Magic. But then again, maybe this is a witch house. Oh, guys, I lied to you. The living room is super not decorated yet. There is some curtains and a rug in there. Okay, yeah, here we go. We're getting some chairs and I'm trying to decide where the heck to put things. And then I do eventually end up putting in a TV. Sometimes I don't put TVs in my builds because I kind of like that like semi-period sort of look. But for this, I did not do that. I did use the decor to the max side table. And then I eventually move the chairs around. I actually need to play test this downstairs to make sure you can sit in both of these chairs. I think you probably can. That's why I put them where they were. But I need to have Miss Thing try to sit in them. Now, here is the kitchen area. I do love doing an apron on the wall moment. I've got an apron of my own in real life that I got a new hutch, so it's hanging off of that. But I love an apron on the wall. Okay, kitchen. Deciding what the heck to do with the stove. And of course, since it's in front of a window, and by stove I mean sink, I can't put that one that has like the back that goes up above the counter. So you can see I swapped it out for something gold. Now we're trying to decorate the kitchen. This is the dining room area. I think this table's from Paranormal. I know these chairs are. Because there's like that sort of like peacock botanical print on the yellow. I was really hunting for yellow and purple stuff, guys. We do have I guess, not as many purple things as I would like in the game, but there was enough to where I kind of made this work. And then we have a tiny little stove nook over here with like some kind of expensive appliances. I think they're from Family. Guys, I don't remember the family pack. I didn't remember yesterday when I started recording this audio. I still don't remember. Family living. Growing together. That's what it is. Growing together. I think that's what that's from. I could be lying. And then I put a little hutch over here. I think this was after I got the hutch for my house. In real life. Maybe before. Who knows? You can see I tried very, very hard to put in that hanging thing where the plants are in like the 3 hanging bottles in the window, but I do that in everything. I can't do that again. Maybe I can. I don't know. Maybe that's my signature. Like how certain builders do certain things. Maybe that's mine. But I do a lot of the same stuff. But I love the items I use. That's why I use them. But it's because like I do kind of decorate a lot of stuff in a very similar style. Usually something that's like borderline. And I always feel like it always lends like a little bit towards a magic user, which, you know, is fair. I'm like, I call myself like an eighth of a witch in real life, but meh. Then I think maybe we're getting into landscaping mode here where now you can watch me sort through debug for a long, long time. I think this is before. No, you can tell this is after I got organized debug because it's there in the bottom right-hand corner. But yeah, I had to reinstall it. And then I put down these planter boxes, which I don't remember where they came from. I think they're City Living, but I haven't seen this swatch. Or maybe it's new. Did they add a new planter box? I think this is City Living, though. It has, like, the pattern of the City Living stuff. So maybe that's what it is. I apologize, guys. I'm yawning. This iced coffee's not doing me any good yet. Now, I was fighting with this to try to put in actual plantable plants. I may do that a little later. You might hear the kitty cat meowing. Hi, baby. Yeah, she's sad. She's not sad. She just wants second breakfast. Which I guess maybe she is sad, but she doesn't need it. Now we're putting in some, I put in like a back corner with weeping willow to anchor the one corner. I use the debug base game arch. And then here I'm trying to decide if I want to put up roof sculptures along like the crown of the roof. I end up not using them. Is it called the crown of the roof? I could Google this. I should probably learn a few more architectural terms, but I think we are getting sort of like closer to the end-ish. I think I've got about 7 minutes left of voiceover to record for y'all. More lavender is going in here, which is a delight. I hope I didn't overdo it, but I don't know. I think this all kind of works. It is all very like purpley. I have also been doing a lot of like monochromatic or duochromatic builds lately, which I'm like, maybe it's beginning to get a little, what's the word? Gimmicky. But I mean, I do like the color theory of it all. And then eventually, I think I do end up using a yellow fence, which is kind of funny because remember I put in yellow in the sort and then couldn't find this one, which is the one I wanted, which is from Strangerville. Oddly enough, there was not a lavender swatch, but maybe that's for the best because I think this yellow fence ended up looking better. I'm fearful if I had done the lavender one, it might have been like too much lavender or too much purple. And then here I'm hunting to see exactly what kind of fountain to put in this corner. Whichever one I go with is none of these because I end up building a tiny little pond, which you'll see here. And then I used the little Foggy fountain because I love him. Yeah, here's the pond, and then it starts, I think, with the stone bottom, and then I swap it out to dirt and put stone around the edge because I decided like that tiny cobbly stone paint ends up being more of like what I use for the path like around the inner grounds of this lot. And then I do put a tree back yonder. I don't know. I love all of the building, but I do really love landscaping. I love like doing like the sizing up and down of the plants and putting like taller things towards the back and then moving forwards, and putting little clumps of things together. It does kind of make me wish I had a yard in real life. I live in an apartment, but I don't wish I had yard work in real life. So for now, this will be fine. I am trying to get like a little window box in real life. Is there anyone here who lives in an apartment IRL and has a little window box? How does it work for you? I'm fearful because I don't want it to like drain when I water it and then like drip on my neighbors as they walk underneath, because I'm afraid that will happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But I also have a lot of anxiety. I'm always afraid that my window unit I have in my bedroom is just going to tumble out and fall on someone. And it won't. It won't because I have a big brace that is like drilled into the window frame. So that's not going to happen. But I fear. Now, here I am trying to decide what sort of fencing to put around the garden area. I eventually decided on this cast iron one. I think you saw me poke around through debug and live edit to try to find things. That didn't work. Oh well. But we are kind of closing in on the end here. I do end up swapping out this bathroom window for a more Gothic one. And then I think I swap up one of the upstairs ones too. We're just doing little finishing touches here where I'm like, okay, what did we forget? For one, I forgot to fill these shelves. I think I put that little box there off camera because one of my friends came over when I bought that hutch in real life. She helped me move it. And she's like, let me see your Sims stuff. You got your fancy new computer. And I was like, I am working on something. So I was showing her the house and then I put that box down and I was like, wait, I must film. So I stopped decorating, but I put in a little journal I think I use a lot of these things. I love the heritage flower tin. I love that little journal open book thing with the pen. I put that in a lot of my kitchens because I always like to think someone's creating recipes or adjusting recipes, or maybe it's like a family recipe that they're like writing down, like, mom said to use a quarter cup, but I'm going to use a half cup of this. You know, storytelling. I do like the visual storytelling aspect of decorating a house. I think I like that more than the gameplay of The Sims. I haven't played a lot of gameplay lately, which is sort of hilarious. I really should. But I don't know, the building brings me joy. I would rather do storytelling that way and kind of like create a vibe of a person and then build said person and then maybe let y'all get them. I'm trying to remember if I uploaded any of the Sims that I made for these builds. Maybe I didn't. Would you guys like that? I'm sure I've asked that before. I'm trying to up the engagement a little. Let me know. I would love to know. We're doing a little bit of adjusting now of the lights. And again, the clustering of these particular movie hangout lights does have a bit of a chokehold on me, guys. I am sorry. I am sorry, but not sorry enough to stop doing it because I think it's pretty. I think a lot of decorating that I do in The Sims is stuff that I wish I could do in my apartment. And don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of stuff in my apartment. There's a lot of peel and stick wallpaper in here and a lot of eclectic things. But we're doing a little bit of last minute adjusting. I finally picked a reading lamp for this corner, and then I'm trying to fill the walls without overfilling them. It's very challenging for me. But we've got like maybe 10 seconds left of the speed build, and then we're going to go into screenshots, which I have yet to take. I'll try to do that at some point later today. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.